I was 17, working nights at a local pizza joint, just trying to save some cash. Most shifts blurred together. Same streets, same houses, same regulars who never tipped enough. But Saturdays were different. Random people ordered until 2 a.m. And on this particular Saturday, a nasty storm was rolling through. Here's the thing about bad weather and pizza delivery. Business explodes. Nobody wants to drive in that mess. So I was slammed until nearly midnight, then finally got a breather. The other drivers were older guys in their 30s and 40s, smoking by the back door. I didn't really fit in. Then the next order came in. Of course, they sent me, the kid. The address wasn't familiar, 20 minutes away according to my maps. I figured I'd take my time coming back, maybe skip the last few deliveries of the night. Sometimes the longest routes lead to the darkest places. The roads were empty by then. Most people find that creepy. I always found it peaceful. The neighborhood was the kind where houses sat way back in the trees, long gravel driveways disappearing into darkness. Nothing too unusual for our town, but definitely isolated. I pulled into the driveway. The house was old, large, and completely dark. Not a single light on anywhere. But as I reached for the pizza, I caught movement upstairs, a curtain shifting, like someone had been watching me from the shadows. I see that all the time on deliveries. People peek, but this felt different because I couldn't actually see anyone behind the glass, just darkness. I walked to the front porch anyway and immediately stopped. There was already a pizza box sitting there from a different shop across town, soggy from the rain, like it had been there for hours. No cars in the driveway, no sign anyone had come or gone. Why order from two different places on the same night? I knocked, heard something shift inside, then silence. A full minute of nothing. I knocked again, still nothing. So I called the phone number on the order. 2 seconds later, a phone rang on the other side of the door. Someone was standing right there, not answering, just standing. My skin was crawling now. I was about to drop the pizza and run when a voice cut through the door, harsh, gravelly, a woman's voice. "Door's broken. Bring it around to the side porch." I hesitated, but I needed the payment, so I walked around the house through the pouring rain. The side door was a mess, cobwebs, dirt. The outdoor light was dead. This door hadn't been used in months, maybe years. If the front door was really broken, why wouldn't they use this one regularly? What was I walking into? I stood there for 30 seconds, getting soaked, listening. No footsteps, no movement, just the storm and this overwhelming feeling that something was watching me from the tree line. Trust the fear that has no explanation. I dropped the pizza, ran to my car, got out of there. On the drive back, it hit me. The other pizza box meant another driver had already been there, and he'd left too. Whatever was waiting for me around that side porch, he'd seen it first. They'd ordered again from a different shop, hoping for a different outcome. I still work at that pizza place. Nothing like that has ever happened again, but I've never forgotten the sound of that phone ringing just inches away from someone who refused to open the door. Before we move to the second story, hit that like button if you've ever had a gut feeling that saved your life, and drop a comment telling me the creepiest thing you've seen on a late-night drive. Now let's get back to the darkness. This happened 2 years ago. I was a park ranger in a massive, remote wilderness area, so remote that most people never visited. We almost had no staff, just a handful of rangers covering hundreds of square miles. My shifts were strange. Sometimes I'd get off at midnight, sometimes 4 a.m. On this particular day, I'd spent the afternoon cleaning a campground deep in the backcountry, miles from the main lodge. No campers, no tents, just me and the forest. I headed back after sunset, hiked to my ATV, and rode carefully to the lodge, a tiny cabin with a wood stove and a heavy-duty radio. About an hour after I got there, the rain started. Nothing unusual. We got storms all the time. I made coffee, started writing up my notes, and settled in for a quiet night. When does a routine night become something you never forget? The radio clicked on around midnight, another ranger asking if I was there. He wanted to know if I'd seen anyone at that campground. I told him no, not a single sign of human presence. Long pause. Then he said the station had received an SOS satellite ping from someone on the same trail I'd just left. No text, no follow-up, just one ping. Usually those are accidents, a button pressed inside a backpack, but you still have to check, and I was the closest ranger by over an hour. I grabbed my radio, headlamp, and flashlight and walked into the storm. Couldn't take the ATV, too muddy. The ping location was 2 miles up the trail, but they didn't know which direction the person was moving. The hike took 45 minutes in brutal conditions. Even with my gear, I could barely see the trail. Then my flashlight caught something. A man, standing 10 feet off the path, completely soaked, long hair hanging in his face. No rain jacket, no backpack, no visible gear at all. He looked delirious, but also somehow aware. I yelled that I was a ranger, asked if he was okay. He didn't answer, just stared. I waved for him to come toward me, told him the lodge was a few miles down, and then he bolted, sprinting deeper into the forest, gone in seconds. Why run from the person trying to save you? I radioed the other ranger, told him what I'd seen. While we were talking, he suddenly cut me off. Said he'd just gotten another SOS ping from the same device, a quarter mile east of the first one. That was exactly the direction the man had run. So I followed, walking into the trees, shining my light everywhere, every instinct telling me to turn back. The forest remembers what you're trying to forget. 5 minutes in, my flashlight hit something on the ground. A Garmin satellite messenger, bright orange, unmistakable. The exact kind hikers carry, but where was the person using it? That's when I heard footsteps, sprinting, coming right at me from the side. The same man was charging me like he wanted to tackle me to the ground, not like he needed help, like I was prey. I dodged, he stumbled, and in that split second, I saw his eyes, lifeless, dark, empty in a way that made my blood turn cold. I ran, slipped down the trail, tumbled over rocks, didn't stop until I reached the lodge and locked the door behind me. The other ranger showed up 10 minutes later. Police took 40 more, but because of the storm, they couldn't search until morning. They found the satellite messenger exactly where I'd left it, but the man was gone, no trace of him anywhere. Here's what haunts me. Those devices cost hundreds of dollars. He had no other gear, no backpack, no tent, no food. Nothing. So where did he get that messenger? And who was he really hunting out there in the dark? Some SOS signals are invitations, not emergencies. If you made it to the end of both stories, you're officially part of the Witnessed Horrors family. Subscribe right now so you never miss another true nightmare. And drop a comment telling me the creepiest thing you've seen on a late-night drive.